In Shanghai, and good morning, Switzerland. Welcome to Swiss Next China. Thank you for joining our 25th Café des Sciences lecture. My name is Zhu, Deputy CEO at Swiss Next China, and we're delighted to welcome some new guests today, both online and offline. So I will give a brief introduction to our organization, what we do. So Swiss is the Swiss and the of the Swiss of research and innovation. We have 5 Swiss Next offices, 3 in the States, 1 in India, 1 in Brazil, and us here in China, as well as 19 science counselors at Swiss embassies worldwide. For the past 12 years, we've been actively building bridges between China and Switzerland in education, research, and innovation. Is our lecture series started in 2019, which provides a platform to spotlight Swiss scientists, startups, artists, designers, and connect them with the local community and network. This year, the themes will be focusing on innovation and sustainability. The lectures will be scheduled for the 3rd Thursday every month, so please stay tuned. Today's event was brought to you by our art science team, my colleagues Cici, Head of Art Science, and Zhang Tong, Junior Project Manager of Art Science. Without further ado, Zhang Tong, you have the floor.
So hello everyone, welcome to our event. I am Zhang Tong, the Junior Project Manager in Art Science of Swiss Next China, and welcome to our first Café des Sciences lecture in 2021. And thank you for spending time with us today. And today our topic is sustainable fabrics. We choose to focus on the sustainable fabrics because they have the closest relationship with our daily life, since we are all feeling them with our skins all the time. And also the wasted fabrics are creating huge amount of trash each year, and sustainable fabrics provide solutions to improve the current situation. And also there are also ethical problems relating to this issue. So we would like to introduce you to this topic. And there are mainly 2 directions of sustainable fabrics. One is to develop new materials, and the other direction goes for the natural materials which are 100% eco-friendly. I believe our speakers today will give us an in-depth overview of the sustainable fabrics, and we are glad to invite 2 fashion designers specializing in sustainable fashion to share their insights on this topic. And they are our online speaker, Jen von Sisseger. She is the founder of and designer of outshined, and also she's the head of the Fashion Revolution's Romanization. Also our online speaker is Miranda Chen. She's the general manager and the co-founder of Langer Chen. And after the presentation of our 2 speakers, we will come to the Q&A session. And if you have any questions during the presentations, you are welcome to type in your questions in the Q&A box, and we will answer them afterwards in the Q&A session. Now let us welcome Jeanne to give us her presentation. Are you ready for the presentation? Okay.
Yes, hello everyone. Thank you for inviting me to this Café des Sciences chapter. I'm going to share my screen, so please accept my screen with the presentation. Can you already see it? Let me know when it's okay.
Yes, we can see your screen. It's okay.
Okay,
it's okay.
So you're on the presentation slides?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so actually I wanted to focus on sustainable fashion and why it matters. So I wanted to really highlight first like the whole context, why I got involved in the fashion revolution movement, and also then afterwards speak a little bit about some facts and figures about how the sustainable industry, how the fashion industry is going so far. And at the end, I will speak a little bit more about my label Apsan, why I founded it. And yes, if you have questions, please, they're very welcome. So first of all, I wanted to show you that so the fashion industry is in the 4 biggest, largest polluting industry in the world. And here you have some figures about why actually the fashion revolution movement was born. So 24th April 2013, the Rana Plaza factory in Bangladesh collapsed and killed a little bit more than 1,138 people and injured many, which actually led to a systemic change in the fashion industry. So the fashion revolution movement is actually was actually born out of this dramatic disaster and that happened during the Rana Plaza factory collapse. And the movement is actually campaigning for clean, safe, fair, and transparent, accountable fashion in this industry. And we do this through actually research, education, collaboration, mobilization, and advocacy. And the aim is really to show that the fashion textile sector, which is actually one of the most polluting, wasteful industry, can change, and that this industry, who sometimes lack a little bit of transparency, can be, does not need to stay in this state, but can actually change and be very beneficial also for the people working in this industry. It can have a better environmental impact, a better social impact, and really towards all the health of the people and the animals living in our planet, we can really move to a more sustainable way of doing. Because as you can see from the picture here, that is directly from the Fashion Revolution website, it takes a lot of resources actually to be in this industry. And to be a little bit more in depth in some figures. So here, for example, because sometimes when you get figures, it's always very difficult to actually picture it in your daily life. And one sentence that we have at Fashion Revolution is always be curious, find out, and do something. And why? Because, for example, if you make only a t-shirt, it takes you more than 2,720 liters to make a shirt. So you can think, oh, that's a lot of amount of water. But actually in your daily life, you can't picture to what it compares. And that's why here we show you that it's actually a normal drinking of 3 years of water for a person. And then you can picture it and think, okay, I bought this new shirt and yeah, it takes me, it's actually corresponding to 3 years of my water consumption to have this shirt. So then it's much easier for you to actually understand why sustainable fashion matters. And then we have here also a second picture where it shows that around 40% of the clothes are rarely or never worn. And also that it's polluting a lot the water from the treatment and the dyeing of textile, but not only, also because for now, over 70 million barrels of oils are used each year to produce polyester. And polyester is found now, is a substance that is found in 65% of all the clothing and takes around 200 years to decompose. So when you have all those figures and facts, yes, then you can really picture that actually this way of producing is not sustainable anymore and that we cannot continue in this direction without impacting a lot the climate. So also another fact is that over 15 billion clothes are produced every year, and that would be corresponding to 20 new items per consumer on the planet. So just imagine how many people are already on the planet and how much new items are produced every year. And furthermore, there is also another related to the waste and actually the microplastics. So 34.8% is the textiles is the #1 source of primary microplastics in the oceans. And this is also very important to highlight because the pollution of the waters actually that we are drinking is going to be increasing more and more, and we need to change this. So that's why sustainable fashion is very important. And actually, it's an economic system which refers to circular economy. So you have, first of all, the linear economy, where actually you buy something, you use it, and you throw it away. Then you can have a better step, that is the recycling economy, where you use something, you can also recycle it, but then it also ends up in the bin. And the circular economy is really the economy that is closing the loop of the system, where you minimize, first of all the resources inputs and the creation of waste, as well as the pollution. And the aim is really to keep products, equipments, and infrastructure as long as possible, while improving the productivity of these products. So the waste materials and energy should become input for other processes. And that's why you have on the right side this picture where you really see that if you take something, then you also have to reuse, repair, recycle, make something new out of it. And then at the end, it really goes into this loop of circular economy, which is really important to highlight, because actually with this circular economy, you can be more into sustainable fashion. So sustainable fashion is actually a mix of all these three components, which is the ethical fashion that is highlighting more the people, the eco-friendly fashion, which actually is more about the materials that you're going to use, and slow fashion, which is how you're going to use these products, these items, versus the fast fashion. And I think that's the big change that the fashion products and the fashion systems has to gather is really this ecological integrity and social justice. And with the sustainable fashion concerns, you can address actually all these aims in the fashion textiles and the products that are brought every year on the market. So the fashion industry is for now accountable for 8% of global greenhouse gas emissions. And moreover, by 2030, the apparel industry alone will emit almost 4.9 gigatons of greenhouse gases. And it's really something that the sustainable fashion wants to address, is that we can't go on so in this way of doing. And that's why we have all these new standards and these new labels that are addressing these issues. So I wanted to really show you that we have these three sectors. The first is dedicated to the environment, which also includes organic certifications. The second one is concerned about social aspects of the production. And the third one is about animal welfare. And you can have like a lot of different of these standards, but the most important is like for every fashion label to at least incorporate one of these. I mean, it's not possible for a label, or it's very difficult for a label to incorporate all these aspects, all these standards, but all the sustainable fashion labels aims to at least have one of these standards in the production line or in their social aspects, environmental aspects. So for the environmental aspects, it's really to reduce the impact, the environmental impact, the zero impact, so that you can guarantee that the environmental footprint is as low as minimum. And there you have really like these amazing standards now, which is the Ecotex, the GOTS, Global Organic Textile Standards, and much more. I'm not going to go through all of them, but these are actually the most known for now. And then you have the social ones that guarantee that the production is ethical or fair trade. And the social impact takes into account a serious problem of textile production, because it's not only mainly related to fast fashion or low-cost fashion, but it's really about the exploitation of the cheap labor. as well as the gender or racial discrimination, the child labor, and more generally, the total absence of rights for workers. So therefore, it's really important when you see fashion labels that include this fair trade, fair wear, and social accountability standards, it's very important to continue to support them because they are actually working towards a better sustainable a better fashion. And then you have at the end, you have also the certifications that guarantee the production is carried out without animal exploitations. So most importantly, it can reject either animal-based materials such as leather, fur, and wool, or also exclude any testing carried out on animals. And that's why all these textile certifications are essential, because you cannot talk about sustainable fashion without them. And however, slow fashion actually includes also the whole traditional, artisanal, and local manufacturers that are using organic and recycled materials. And that's why I want to show you now the next slide, which is like all the different possibilities that you have actually to be part of this sustainable fashion. You can either incorporate one of these different alternatives or all of them, but every step that you make into a better, a sustainable way of dressing yourself is actually a big step forward. So we have, on the first one, we have the on-demand and the custom-made items. So it can be either something that you ask to be bespoke or tailor-made, or even that you did it yourself. Then we have all the green and clean products that are made with actually organic or GOTS certified products, fabrics, sorry. And then we have also these high quality and timeless pieces that are very important, because actually when you have one of these pieces, you don't want to throw it away directly the next day. So it's really something, maybe you had to save money for it, and you have these timeless pieces, and you know you can wear them over and over again, and they are from a good quality and they are timeless. So they are not following a trend, but so you're going to keep them longer. And all these different, so then afterwards we have also the fair and ethical productions that can be either made from artisans, traditional productions, artisans, handcrafts, and also including these animal rights that I spoke just before. And all these steps, all these alternative steps are very important because they show you that there are alternatives to the fast fashion, and that you can, with your consumption, you can actually influence the way of how the clothes are also made, because you are voting always with the buying that you're doing. So then we have also the repair and the upcycling sector. Also the fact that you can rent, lease, and swap clothes. So you don't need always to buy them, but you can also just exchange them, rent them, or just have them for a certain moment, or exchange them with other people. And then you can also have secondhand and vintage clothes. And why is this important? Because it's important that here you have the hierarchy of needs in the fashion world. So it's important for you to be, what I think is important is for you to be a consume actor for every one of us. And that's why at Fashion Revolution, we have this hashtag, who made my clothes? Because it's important to know actually who are the people behind, to understand the story behind each clothes, and to be a consume actor. So consume actor comes from consumption and being an actor. And it's actually a consumer who reappropriates the act of consumption by using his purchasing power to protect the values and causes he defends. And through this action, the consume actor, he embodies actually the fight against the consumer society advances. And I think it's really important and to join actually one of these movements, because you have now so many options to fight against the, I don't want to say the negative influence of the industry, but I think it's really important that regarding towards large distribution, you can counterbalance this influence by favoring certain products amongst others. And by favoring these products that are actually more ethical, more sustainable, you can vote with your trolley. And that's very important, is that you have the power with your trolley to vote actually what is better and which way is better to consume. And as a consumer actor, it's really important that you are interested in appreciating sustainable and equitable quality products, because thoughtful purchases tend to support actually all these little labels or little or bigger labels that propose an ethical and a deontological approach. And unlike those that rely only on purely economical development, the consumer actor, he can actually question the consequences of his purchase on the environment and more generally the harmful effects that can cause overconsumption. And so, yes, by respecting actually the clothes that you have and what the whole actually story that is behind the clothes that you are wearing, I think you can also rely on this hierarchy of needs, which shows you that buying is actually the last step in the hierarchy. You have a lot of actually options before buying an item. And if you buy it, then really buy it by being aware of all the consequences of your purchase. And actually, that's why I got involved and I founded my label, Upcycled. It's because I wanted to help the artisans that were the little family businesses from Vietnam that were independent. And I wanted to help them to have a proper income and so that's why I put also these focuses on the slide on to show that actually the craftsmanship know-how that they have is very amazing, and that it's also important to show and highlight and support this type of craftsmanship. So all our items, our clothes, can either be purchased in prêt-à-porter or tailor-made. And our aim is really to promote handmade with love collections and local craftsmanship know-how in collaboration with this established network of Vietnamese artisans to create slow fashion with style. Because a lot of people think sometimes that slow fashion or the ethical fashion or sustainable fashion are a little bit outdated, that they are not fashionable, that you can maybe wear them during your holidays, but that you cannot wear them to go to work or for a business trip or and so on. And that's why at Upcycled we really want to show that you can have all our capsule collections either tailor-made or in pret-a-porter, but that the most important is that you can have them worn during your business trips, during your work, and also during your leisure time. And so all our clothes and accessories, they are socially responsible because they are either produced by our artisans from our established network. So we visit them, I visit them every year. Okay, this year with the pandemic it was a little bit difficult, but until 2020, I have close contact with them all over the year on all our network possibilities online, and I visit them also at least once a year. And also the other products are so either made by the artisans or by me. And then we also are focused on being equitable because we try to contribute to a sustainable and circular economy by actually creating either these limited editions with high quality upcycled fabrics like silk, cotton, and actually fabrics that are coming from the fabric rolls of the fast fashion industry that they don't want anymore, and that we upcycle into new fabrics, into new items. Or they are also coming from our ethnic minorities with whom we are working with, and we are upcycling as well their fabrics into new items. This with the aim to being truly engaged in the energy efficiency and the waste management and in this whole creating process. And then we also try to be even more ecological and traceable, because we want that. Actually, it's really a part of our label that all the persons that are working behind the items that we produce, that they are fully traceable, and then that the artisans are also actually put forward for the amazing work that they are doing. And so that's one of our big part, is really to create fashion, sustainable fashion that is nice and that you can wear whilst knowing the whole story that is behind it. And then we have a second point, is that we work a lot with upcycled fabrics. And so for those who don't know actually what upcycling is, it's really this creative process of reusing and transforming products that are actually not meant to be used anymore or unwanted, but that we create and that we put into new products with a part of materials that are, of course, new from the fabric side, but also we include a lot of fabrics that are upcycled. Like, for example, this yoga mat bag, the whole jeans part is made from upcycled fabrics. And then you have the other part with the pattern that is GOTS certified product. So our aim is really here, you can see some picture, is really our fabric sources is either GOTS certified or Oekotex certified fabrics. And very important as well, all the upcycled natural fibers coming either from end-of-fabric growth from the fast fashion industry or from our partner, Cycli. Here you can see me with our partner, who is actually a swapping company that is taking clothes from end consumers, and the people actually have a card. They can bring, for example, 10 clothes and exchange for 10 other new clothes, for 10 other clothes that another people brought. And all the end materials, that the clothes that are not actually able to be part of this swapping system, are afterwards reused by us, outshined, into new products. So that's why you have, for example, the jeans on the left, on the right side, with the new fabric that is actually Oekotex certified. And with these materials, we produce actually new items that are afterwards sold in our online web shop or in our partner boutiques. And so that's it. Thank you very much for having taken part in my presentation, and I hope that you could enjoy why it's important for us, for me actually, and for our artisans to be part of this sustainable fashion, and why actually we went into this. It was a hard project. It still is. Actually, it's not my main work, but it's my hobby to really be able to show that that you can actually wear sustainable fashion, and that it has style, and that it's important to be a consumer actor, because the ocean has been made from a lot of drops, and every drop, even if you think, okay, I'm only a drop in the ocean, but actually you're the drop that's going to create the ocean, that's going to make the difference. And that's why it's important to be part of this sustainable circular economy. So thank you very much. And yeah, if you want to know more, please send me your questions afterwards, and have a tour on our website, and all your inputs are welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Jen, for the inspiring thought. And next, I will give the floor to Miranda to introduce her experience in sustainable fabrics. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Actually, thank Shona. Thanks, Shona. Have a very good presentation, and it's completely the aspect compared to me. I'm in the industrial part. So things introductions I don't need to repeat, and it's a must for sustainable fashion. So I I'm doing this years, and we share. Miranda, this is me. I have a longer in music. So longer term, and this is longer term is we founded a company in 2008, and at that time, all the textile industry already very popular. It's not new. So we think what is the future for the textile field? So we set a factory specialized in eco fashion in 2008 until now. Yeah. Luton is our own brand, and we focus this brand in eco, urban, outdoor. Eco is, we say, sustainable is our key issue for this brand. Yeah. Today we're in Swiss next. So we just delivered the spring summer 2021 production for all the shops. So I just select all these are the customers we had in Swiss. So maybe Jana can have the address, exactly address city. Yeah, but everybody can see Swiss is one of the important and the first country who concerned on the sustainability. A long time ago, when I still was the supplier, I have Migros, IPA, Co-op as my customers. And I think that's also like in the late 90s. Like Migros, they already had green label for the their own green label. Each government, each order they want to transport and have the control on the chemical side. And every is one of the famous shop focused on eco products. Of course, in crop shop, mostly are foods, organic foods, but also organic garments. Same as what Shana just said, for a sustainable fashion brand, it's not only say sustainable. Yeah, this is our concept for our brand. We can say the first is we care about your good looking, then is the quality, and then we care about your our environment, and then the fairness, and also ethical behavior. This final part actually exactly matching what Shana just said. A sustainable fashion has the clean fabric side, also eco side, and also social side. This is what we understand for industrial sustainable fashion. Sustainability is sustainable product for sure, and then also sustainable supply chain. and also a sustainable concept for customers. Here I want to explain a little bit. For sustainable product, it's more easy understandable because it's an easy thing. You look at the product and what the product come from, the materials, accessories. Okay, that's the sustainable product. But also sustainable supply chain means from the material starting. If we say farmer, a farm, growing, and also like if we say textile, spinning, knitting, weaving, or the industrial dyeing, the whole supply chain need to be sustainable. Otherwise, you don't know if it is sustainable product in the end. Therefore, there are lots of certification company, audit company. They are doing very good job. They have the all different control. Also, Jana just a very professional said different company to have the certification. Here, from our experience, in our company, we have the geotest certification, we have farewell, and we have like a vegan, also Architects 100. These are all, we cooperate with we audit all our supply chain to make sure the final ends we have a sustainable product. And then sustainable concept for customers. This part is not a popular saying, but I think this quite related to ethical behavior. If you are making sustainable fashion, but you are customer oriented, or you don't pay your workers, or you don't pay your suppliers, actually the whole idea of your sustainable fashion is not that sustainable. This is what we say. If you're doing sustainable fashion, and the sustainability also concerns your customers, your suppliers, your people. Okay, this topic is very various and lots of aspects. Today here we talk about develop sustainable fabrics. This is our WeChat China Media 公众号, and I just listed. Have a look. There are so many people, so many materials, so many ways to do the sustainable. Yeah. I fully agree, Jana's shell. I also separated what means sustainable materials. We have upcycling, recycle. These are kind of used fabrics. This is one part. And then also lots of friends, they concerns on the zero waste or reuse product. And also new fabrics is coming out, the original organic field, and also now we have this kind of different new fabrics coming from like a new plant, like apple pines, lotus, this kind of new innovation fabrics. And I think lots of people focus on low carbon use project, anti-plastic project, less water use project. These kind of things are all a kind of angle to develop sustainable materials. Of course, for a consumer, the low consumption is also a kind of sustainable behavior. Now because I'm in the business, we have factories, we have a brand, and also this brand also doing the traditional selling, collection, and in the shops, retail. There is one important principle is don't develop a non-sustainable products from a sustainable materials. What means? It means you develop maybe a brand, maybe a product, you use sustainable materials. Like just now I said, upcycling, recycled, organic, whatever, sustainable material. But when you have the products, nobody needs this product. Actually, this thing you created from sustainable material is non-usable. I think this is very bad. You create a rubbish from a very good idea. This is completely not sustainable. So this is my principle. Okay. So actually now, especially these 2 years, lots of supporting from the fabric supplier, also from government. Sustainability is keywords, and lots of people developing this. So you can get quite some fabric from the all different source. It's not like a treasure. It's not a treasure. If you are doing upcycling, I know there are kind of company already take the old garments and then they doing or to dominate to the poor area or to the people, to the designer who want to do the upcycling. And if you want new fabric, but you want organic or recycled, actually quite some materials already in the market. But from all the more than 10 years experience, I can share the difficulty. So if someone online, some friends here, if you want to have the business in this field, I want to say, take care of the difficulties. First, there is quite limit for the ready fabric source in market. Means sustainable fabric, normally the fabric mill, they will not produce and then stock there. In our business, when you go to the fair, if you are professional fashion people, you know, there in the business fair, there are lots of factories. They offered different kind, patterns, different color or great fabric, dyed fabric. They prepare the fabric for you, so the designers can choose. Okay, I like this. I make my collection and this. But for sustainable fabric, especially new fabric, normally people don't ready-made and for your choosing. This is very difficult. Means maybe you want a nice fabric in sustainable way, but you don't find it in the market ready there. So you need to develop this. And then second thing is the limit of the raw material. Several years before, when I say this, I personally don't feel this because there are not so many brands they are doing the using the sustainable fabric. But actually, at this moment, now it's January 2021, and it's the preparation for the next year production, fall winter. And the fall winter is a big season for every brand. And now, last week, when we check what the market's issue, I want to block my gauge fabric or cotton fiber, and it's very, very serious actually situation now in the market. I don't know if we have the same friends in this fabric field. Organic cotton these days almost no offering, and organic linen is zero offer, and tencel is almost 60% price higher than in October. This one of the reason is the coronavirus. I think there are quite less of the output. The production side is quite less. And also, I think maybe people already hear the Xinjiang cotton problem. So altogether, next year, the sustainable fashion materials is very limited. So this brings very difficult to industrial part. And then professional knowledge actually is very necessary in this sustainable fashion field. Certification part, chemical, and it's like a pricing. It's necessary to have some professional knowledge. And then lead time, it needs a longer lead time and a big minimum and less individual handwriting possibility. This is related to the first three things. It's hard to get individual handwriting in this field. And then risk of consumer understanding different. Now lots of people go to the shop, say, I want to sustainable, completely sustainable product. Compared to normal product, if we say sustainability rate, if a normal garment is 0, and if it's a completely sustainable garment is you can get 100, actually not very low percentage garment can get 100 score. But at this moment, not so many consumers can understand if a garment is only 70% sustainable, it's already appreciated. So it is a sustainable garment. But this needs time to understand. People want perfect, sustainable fashion, but not so many people can get this. And then the last thing is you need to prepare the risk of company financially low growth. If you want to do a sustainable brand, you need to prepare. It cannot grow immediately. Next year doubled. The next day again doubled, because the different difficulty on above. The supplier is limit, and the lead time is longer. Minimum is bigger, and handwriting, individual handwriting is possibility is lower, and you need develop more time to get consumer agree with you, satisfies with you. So That's also why the supplier, the brand are not that much in the market. Okay, here I show a little bit story about our developing. That's I make it quicker. Okay, we have one fabric is organic cotton with it's a rain jacket. Rain jacket with organic cotton, natural fabric. It's already very difficult. You need to have the coating, sustainable way, and also the taping there. And then we find by using the cotton by washing, actually the color fastness, color aberration is less, or what to say, worse than the polyester. I think most people have the experience. When you have cotton pants, after several times washing, you have the lines. But if you have a polyester pants, you never find a color aberration things. And then we develop like a organic cotton with recycled polyester together. And then we make a testing about color aberration. So from this example, we can understand industrial part. Customer want sustainable fabric, pure organic cotton, everything perfect, rain jacket, but actually have the weakness is the color aberration. And then if we do cotton recycled polyester, the wearing effect is better, but then you have the recycled polyester in. So this in developing, you need to consider all different parts. Okay. Yeah, this is our organic wool part. Yeah. And this is the organic linen part. Same thing. As I said, organic linen now is less supplier. Less supplier, actually not supplier, because organic linen, the linen farm is not that much actually. And then we make because our brand, we are focusing sustainable fashion. So we normally develop a fabric from material itself. We book the like raw linen, raw organic cotton, and then when I find that the linen is not organic linen is not enough supply, then we make tensile weaving together. So we make our innovation in the fabric to matching both the customer need and also the reality of the sustainable material supply. So that's I want to share is if you want to have a sustainable fashion brand, you always need to have the innovation, to have the develop. Keep the eye on the actual marketing changing, because this is more than normal non-organic, non-sustainable market. So that's the last part. I just share with you. Now more and more people like the brand. And actually from the PR work, you don't see it is organic, it is sustainable fashion. So it's a nice jacket. So this is what we say. First, we make a nice product. Then we say, this is a nice sustainable product. Okay? Yeah. These are all our jackets. These are the jackets. Yeah. That's the last shell. we might be in all different kinds of career. You might be not in the fashion field. And also we might be in different roles of fashion. Or we also might have completely different idea about fashion and trends. Also, we could have all different comments on company management and brand running. But sustainable is the only way to stay alive. This is what I once shared. So the world might have some chance because of us if we do sustainable things. Thank you very much. That's my.
Okay, thanks, Miranda, for sharing the practical issues from an industrial perspective. Now we will come to the Q&A session, and I got a question from our audience. The first one is to Zhen. To upcycling the swapped clothing, how do you deal with the sanitation here in Shanghai? Many swapping groups, but the sanitation is a huge issue. Startups doesn't have capacity to deal with that. So how do you think about it, Zhen? Could you please answer this question?
Yes, hello. Thank you very much for your question. So actually, as we are working with our partner CP, we have the chance that they are actually already taking part in the sanitation part. So the clothes that are brought to the swapping store are actually first analyzed, then they are selected, and the ones that stay in the swapping loop, they are washed and sometimes even repaired, but they have also some sewing persons that are helping them. And then they have all the leftovers that are brought to the recycling bins. So they have different recycling bins. And actually I'm only taking all the natural fibers. So all the natural fibers are afterwards taken into our atelier. And there we are again washing them. As it is natural fibers, I'm working mostly with CP, with cotton. So we are washing them 90 degrees before they entering our loop of fabrication process. So I don't know how other people are doing it, besides from CP, and maybe so our next partner that's going to be in Geneva, it's the local, it's called CSP, Centre Social et Protestant. They're actually selling products that are already owned by people, and then they are giving them into donations. It's like a Caritas. I don't know if you have this in China, but actually it's a shop where you can buy used items. And they also have a whole clothing range, and they have their own washing department in their firm. So it's also going into huge laundry machines, and then it's put again on the market. But of course, it costs a lot of amount of time to do that, and because every fabric needs to be analyzed and washed, and also afterwards cut into something new. So it's a big process. But actually, if I do it, it's more into, I mean, we don't count as much the time that we're putting in it. I mean, I know it's a lot of effort, and time is also money, but it's also, I think it's also a state of mind. I mean, either you are going into this subject of sustainable fashion and you advocate for it, and so then you have also to show and be an example for it. And then actually you put much more time into it, and you are not only focused on the economical value that your item will be, but also on all the other sustainable aspects of your items. And that's why we're doing it. I hope I could answer your question.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for answering the question. And due to the time limit, so I will pose another question for both of our speakers. So my question is, what insight would you like to share with fashion practitioners seeking to be more sustainable in their practice? So maybe first I will invite Miranda to answer this question, and then I would like to invite Jen to add like more thought on this? So, Miranda, please.
Oh, actually, I have already answered a little bit in my presentation. I'm quite positive. The sustainable material in the market already quite available. Yeah, if somebody want to go into this field, you can get. Then how to get individual and how to get the material matching your brand, this is more the other question and the other field needed to think about. If that's okay? Jean? Jana?
So, yes, hello. So I think that if you want to be more in this sustainable aspect, like really put it in part into your life, you need to be, as I already told before, like a consume actor. That means that when you buy something, you have to ask you yourself the question, do I really need this? Then you can either answer yes, I need it, or no. And then when you answer yes to this question, so then you have a second question. Does this piece absolutely need to be something that is new? And if not, then you can go into all these different alternatives that I talked about before, which is renting a clothes, swapping it, going into a vintage shop, a secondhand shop to buy it, and really like try for alternatives that are with products that are already on the market, but that are not new items. And if you need this item to be new, then you can either choose to go in a shop that has sustainable fashion, or you can go in a regular shop. And there it's really important that you see that with your consumption, you are actually an actor and that you can influence the way of how the people and how the brand's going to behave afterwards. So I think it's really important that you are a consumer actor and that you really think about the whole greenwashing that is also part of the marketing process of big companies. Is, are you going into this shop and you have maybe a little line of a clothing line that is sustainable, or are you going in a shop where the whole shop is about sustainable fashion? And then there you can see the difference, because like when big brands, I don't want to like tell names or whatever, but when big brands have a huge store of fashion items that have 50 different collections a year, while we have only 4 seasons a year. And then you go in a sustainable shop where they show you 2 collections or maybe 4 collections a year, where all the clothes are sustainable. And ask yourself, is this big store doing greenwashing? So are they saying that they are doing something sustainable, but it's just an infinite amount of their clothing lines? Or are you going to go into a shop where all their products are sustainable and where they show you from where it's coming from, with whom they're working, what kind of products they're using, and so on?
Actually, I want to say something. Just to say, there are lots of people in different fields to practice, to experience this sustainable fashion. And why I choose the new fabric, not the upcycling or reuse fabric to do this. Also has some reason. From my experience, from my knowledge, I don't know recycle cotton, the use of water afterwards is less or more than a new fabric. This I cannot have the figure. I don't know if I explain well. I mean, the recycle garment, you need a sorting, different content like a polyester, acrylic, cotton. You need time and then I don't know, should be washed, and then to put more wash to have the new fiber. It's one side is saved the new material, but the other side you put more things to create a material. So in this process, what is more sustainable? From my knowledge at this moment, I cannot figure out. So I choose the organic things. So that's the same thing. I think lots of people want consumer to want to consume, to buy new clothes. This to encourage themselves to be joyful life. But one thing I agree with Shana is when you buy something, you really think about if you need or not. Don't waste a thing you bought. Then it's already, you did a good job.
Okay, thanks for answering the question. And we got another question from Hans. And the question is the shift towards online shopping beneficial for the footprint of the overall sustainability? Maybe Jean, could you please answer this question first?
So I don't know if it's really beneficial. I mean, now this year and I mean, this new year and last year was quite difficult. I mean, I don't know how it was in China, but especially in Switzerland, a lot of shops were closed during months. So a lot of brands didn't have actually on a survival aspect, they didn't have the choice but to go into the online shopping mood. So the people could only buy online and receive them through the post. So I think that, of course, it's everything that you do or you don't do has an impact. Of course, the online shopping has an impact because all the resources that you use to send out an email, to receive an email, to get your order and so on is already an impact on the global footprint of the environment. But I think it's not only about having this kind of footprint, like the gray material footprint. It's also about how do the people behave. And how the people behave is that if they don't have the possibility to go shopping into a shop, then they're gonna shop online. And if they shop online, it's still better that they get the opportunity to buy sustainable items and clothes online than to buy only fast fashion or items online that are not sustainable. So I think the shift towards an online shopping is beneficial in the way that actually the sustainable offer needs to be available off and online. But of course, the best will be, first of all, not to consume at all. And if you consume, to really make it last and really get into the deep knowledge of what is behind every item that you purchase.
Okay, thanks, Jen. So maybe Miranda, would you like to add something? And due to the time limit, can you maybe summarize your answer like short? Thank you.
Actually, I think online and offline, this is only the two different channels for sales. It's not directly concerned about footprint. I don't know the electricity to running online shop and the electricity to running offline shop. What the difference? And also, it's like the gas using the transportation for a parcel, or the gas using the gasoline using on the car when you drive to the shop. What the difference? So I don't think the selling channel is the judgment for sustainable footprint, whatever. The bigger things is the product you bought.
Okay, so thank you for thank you for the answering, and thank you for being our speakers today, and thank you for all the audience for participating in our event. And we are about to end, and our next event will be on the third Thursday on March. So we are looking forward to see you in March. And so that's all from today's event, and thank you, and please enjoy our reception. And that's it. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you very much.